Every person in Gotham liked Christmas a lot, but the Joker, who lived in the north wing of Arkham Asylum, did not. The Joker hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why, no one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his gun trigger was too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all was he saw his parents overdose when he was so small. But whatever the reason, his head or his gun, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating every person bar none, staring down from his cell with a sour, sick frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every person in Gotham beneath was busy now, hanging mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow it's Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled, with his white fingers nervously drumming, I must stop this whole Christmas thing from coming. For tomorrow he knew all the ugly girls and boys would wake up bright and early and rush for their toys. And then, oh the noise, noise. If it's the one thing he hated, the noise. Then the people, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast! They would feast on rich pudding and rare roast beast, which was something the Joker just couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every person in Gotham, the tall and the small, would stand close together, with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the pricks would start singing! They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Joker thought of this shitty Christmas thing, the more he thought, I must stop this whole thing! Why, for 33 years I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming! But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea! The Joker got a wonderful, awful idea! I know just what to do, he laughed in his throat. And then he made a quick Santa Claus outfit and coat. He chuckled and clucked. What a great Joker trick! With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Joker looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. But did that stop the Joker? No, the Joker said. If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Gordon. Then he took some thread. He tied a big horn atop his head. Then he smuggled a razor blade and killed the jail warden. And on a ramshackle sleigh he hitched up to old Gordon. The Joker said, "Get up!" And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the people lay a snooze in their town. All the windows were dark, the quiet snow filled the air. All the people were dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first house on the square, "This is stop number 1, the old Joker Claus hissed. He then climbed to the roof, empty bags in his hand. He then slid down the chimney, avoiding the fire poker. But if the Joker could do it, so if Santa Claus could do it, so could the Joker. He got stuck once. He only got stuck once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his green hair out of the fireplace flue, where all the little stockings are hung in a row. "These stockings," he grinned, "are the first thing to go." He then slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorns, and plums. And he stuffed them all in bags, and the Joker very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the box. He took the whole feast. He took Xmas pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleared out the icebox as quick as the flash. Why? That joker even smoked their stash of green hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee, and now, grinned the joker, I'll light up the tree. And then the joker grabbed his lighter, and it started to burn, when he heard a small sound that made his face churn. He turned around and saw a small girl, little Harley Quinzel. Her small eyes started to twirl. The joker had been caught by this tiny Gothamite daughter, who'd gotten out of bed to get a cup of cold water. She stared at the joker and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But, you know, that old joker was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm burning it up. There's no need to fear. It'll flame up real nice. Then it'll burn like a burnt baby, dear." And as his joke scared the child, she screamed her head off. Then he got out his gun and sent her to bed. And when Harley Quinzel went to bed with her mouth shut, he went up to the corner and burnt the tree up. Then the last thing he took on their fire. Then the last thing he took was the log on their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some tripwires. And one speck of fun that he left in the house was a stick of dynamite and a dead mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other poor houses. It was 1:15 dawn, all the people still abed, all the people still snooze as he packed up his sled. He packed it up their presents, their ribbons, their wrappings, their tags, and the tinsel, the trimming, the trappings. "Pooh-pooh on the city," he said, he was jokingly humming. "They'll find out now that no Christmas is coming. They'll wake up and I know just what they'll do." Their mouths still hung open for a minute or two. Then the trolls in Gotham will all cry, "Boo-hoo!" "That's the noise," grinned the joker. "I simply must hear." So he paused, and the joker put his hand to his ear. And then he heard a sound rising over the snow. It started out low, then it started to grow. And the sound wasn't sad. Why, the sound was very merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Gotham. The joker popped out his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every person down in Gotham, the tall and the small, was singing, without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came! Somehow or another, it came just the same. And the joker, with his white feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled for 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the joker thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, the GCPD, they say, that the joker took out his biggest machine gun that day. The minute the trigger didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed his machine gun through the bright morning light, and he killed all the people in his delight. And he himself, the joker, had one thing to say. Why so serious? As their bodies turned gray. The end. By Mr. J. "Merry Christmas," the Joker said as he dropped his pen on the table and smiled. He leaned back in his chair and looked over to his adjoining cell. "Merry Christmas, Harv!" The Joker shouted gleefully. "Go to hell, clown!" Dent growled as he flipped his coin. "Woo! What a Grinch!" Joker replied as he began to howl with laughter.